Hey friend, I am Robin. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I am so glad you're here. I really am. And my name is Robin, and I am committed to helping women just like you elevate not just what you do, although what you do is important, whatever role you play, whatever positions that you're in, those things are important. But I want to help you elevate not just what you do, but who you are. And a part of elevating who you are is elevating out of toxic mindsets, elevating out of patterns that no longer serve you, elevating out of relationships that are draining you. So I want to help you elevate not just what you do, but who you are. And if you are a returning friend, again, I'm so happy you're here. You already know what to do. Go ahead and put on your fuzzy socks, get you something good to drink, grab a journal. And if you have at least one aha, one takeaway, I'm asking that you subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and share it. Let's dive in to this conversation. Today, we are talking about the difference between being burned out or emotionally disconnected. Now, as I was sitting with this, I often, when I go running or when I'm working with clients or even when I'm talking to my girlfriends, listen, even when I'm processing my own life, I jot down notes because we are more alike than we even realize. There is a similar pattern that runs beneath the surface of all of our lives. And so I was trying to really unpack this idea of being burned out versus emotionally disconnected because the day you are seeing this, the day before that, which is March 10th, I believe, was a National Day of Rest, particularly for Black women. And it's such a powerful reminder to us that so many of us, and I talked about this on the video on invisible labor. I'm going to make myself a note so that I can make sure that I link that right after this video. But we talked about invisible labor. And so many of us, this National Day of Rest reminds us that we are carrying so much. It's so many things that we're processing, thinking about, things that are not on the schedule and things that probably couldn't even go on a schedule because they're unspoken, that we sometimes have to take a moment to say, wait a minute, I need to pause. I need to rest. I need to reset. And so, this concept of emotional disconnect versus burnout is really important because if you're burned out, there's certain things you need to do. If you're emotionally disconnected, there's something different you need to do. And I'm about to unpack all of that right now. Now, if you're a returning friend, you may not know I keep notes in front of me because if not, baby, I will chase butterflies. We'll be all over the place. And so, those two things sound very similar, but they really are different and require two different ways to address them. And so, first, I want to talk about burnout. And I really want to define what burnout is, what you can look out for, and what you might need to do. So, burnout is not just being tired, right? I think we all can get to the end of our day and just say, whoa, I'm exhausted. But burnout is a prolonged depletion. It's caused by chronic emotional, mental, and physical output without adequate restoration. Can somebody just say, Robin, read that again? Put in the comments, Robin, read that again. Let me give it to you again. Here is a perfect definition of burnout. It is prolonged depletion caused by chronic emotional, mental, and physical output without adequate restoration. Somebody say, Robin, you don't even have to say, I'm such a preacher. Because why do I keep wanting y'all to talk back to me? But really, I don't even have to go any further because some of you are already understanding what I'm talking about. And burnout happens when you override your limits. I just had to pause because did you hear that? When you override your limits. Burnout happens when you ignore your body, when you keep pushing through stress. And I want to say this because the truth is, some of us feel like, what else am I supposed? I have to keep going. I have to keep pushing. But that have to might be the actual thing that's causing you to be depleted because you have convinced yourself that you have to. And so when you get to the point of burnout, you'll start to say, you know what? I ain't got nothing else to give. I've given all that I got. And you will begin to find yourself feeling like you're almost walking through quicksand or you're almost walking against the wind. The wind is pushing you back and you're trying to move forward anyway. Here are some signs of burnout. You're tired even after you've rested because your mind won't shut off. Small request, the smallest request feels absolutely overwhelming, and your response is deep agitation at the person even making the request, even though you know it's a small request. You don't enjoy the things that used to bring you joy. You fantasize about escaping. If I could just get away, if I could just run away. You love your family. You love the work you do or not. But you just are like, I just want to get away, and not just a vacation. You just want to disappear. This doesn't necessarily have anything to do with wanting to self harm. You just want to disappear because the weight feels too heavy. You are dependable, but you actually resent being dependable. Have I come down somebody's street? Go ahead and say, Robin, you're down my street and I didn't invite you over. Those are signs of burnout. And burnout happens when women keep over functioning. And some of us might feel like, well, Robin, that defines my life. And I want to help you understand this. Nobody is coming to give you permission to shift what you've been doing. You have to give yourself permission. And if you need somebody to give you permission, will you allow me? If that sounded familiar and you're needing somebody to give you permission to shift, I am saying, sis, here is your permission. It's time to make a shift. And making a shift doesn't mean that you stop doing all the things. It means you delegate some things so that you can recenter yourself. I'm going to give you some things that you could do. But burnout is not necessarily, I don't have enough energy. It's that my system is depleted. You feel very depleted. You feel overextended. You're carrying too much responsibility. You're saying yes when you really want to say no. You're living in chronic output. And again, you feel physically and mentally depleted. So that's burnout. Now, I'm going to talk to you about emotional disconnection. These sound or might seem similar, but they really are different. So emotional depletion is it looks like burnout, but it's really different. Disconnection is not necessarily depletion. You have really learned to detach. Oh, sis, I want you to hear me on this because this is a subtle difference, but it's a powerful difference. Burnout is you're depleted. Emotional disconnect is that you've learned to detach. You feel numb. You are moving through the motions, but that's all you're doing. You're going through the motions. You're still functioning. You're still performing. You're still handling your responsibilities, but you just feel a little bit removed. I remember a season that I was definitely emotionally disconnected. And the way I like to describe it, I felt like I was in this bubble and I was watching everybody move around, but nobody could really see me. And I felt like I was in this world not in the world, I was in this bubble by myself. And everybody was moving around like everything was normal, but I felt so numb. I felt removed. And I know you might think, well, Robin, that sounds like depression. It could be depression, but it's not necessarily depression. I would say this emotional disconnect could be a symptom under depression, but it by itself doesn't necessarily mean you're depressed. You're just disconnected. Here's some signs of emotional disconnect. You feel distant, not only from others, but a little bit distant from yourself. You struggle to, this is a perfect example. You're struggling to put a word to it. You're like, I just feel off. I just feel off. You know, the young people say, I just feel some kind of way. I think I'm hitting somebody. You're physically present, but you're emotionally somewhere else. Conversations feel draining because you really feel like you're performing. You remember when I talked about burnout, somebody asked you to do a simple thing and it triggers you deeply. Well, this simple conversations trigger you deeply because it just feels like I got to turn on. You really feel like you are on autopilot. And so you're functioning, but you're numb. You're performing, but you don't really feel present. You're going through the motions and you feel detached from everything around you. And this often happens after long seasons of you over functioning. This is not just you've had a couple of months or a year. Hear me. Burnout might be you've had a year of overfunctioning. Emotional disconnect, you've had a long season of overfunctioning. There might be some silent grief. You might be relationally disappointed. Can somebody lean in? You might be relationally disappointed. I'm going to say it again. You might be emotionally or relationally disappointed. I really needed to talk about this because I see this so much with the women I work with. It's not necessarily burnout, but relationally, you're going through and it's causing you to feel really numb. And You are here, but you're not really here. Is this touching you? Is this resonating with you? Are you like, Robin, I'm with you? Okay. Hey, friend, what if just 5 minutes a day could start the shift you're looking for? Girl, that's the heart behind Elevate Your Life in 30 Days. I created this experience for women just like you, women who are carrying it all, but are ready to pause, go deeper, and finally prioritize the version of themselves that God keeps whispering to their heart. Each day, you'll receive a quick, powerful audio message just like this, covering topics like overcoming people pleasing, breaking toxic patterns, navigating conflict. Girl, we even go to church a few times during this experience. This is about real transformation. I want to help you gain clarity, live intentionally, and grow spiritually. So if you're ready to elevate your thoughts, your faith, and your focus, this is for you. Join us today by clicking the link in my bio, and why not invite a friend to come along with you? Let's elevate together. I really hope that you're understanding the difference, because burnout is probably you've been out putting out a lot, right? Outputting. Emotional disconnect, something inside just feels a little bit lost. Like I really leaned in with the relational disconnect. It can also be you're kind of trying to rediscover yourself. There might be a season where things have radically shifted for you and you're just, again, feeling off. And so I want to give you some practical strategies for both, because the reason why I wanted to identify these is because the things that you do for burnout may be different for the things that you do for being emotionally disconnected. So here we go. When it comes to burnout, what I want you to consider here are 4 strategies. One, I want you to have a transition ritual. What that means is don't just carry one role into the next. I talk about this often, but when my children were younger, when I would pull into the garage would go up, baby, and those babies would be at the garage. And actually, I miss it. I really want them to come to the garage now. But I remember back then, I knew that as soon as I came in the house, it was time to be on. So I would just pull over at the gas station, have a little time for myself, scroll on Instagram, do whatever I had to do to transition into the next role. Part of your burnout is because you are moving from one heavy moment to the next heavy moment. And it doesn't mean that you don't enjoy the moment. You're just not having a chance to take a break. So I want you to have a transition ritual. When you're leaving work, before you put on the mommy hat or before you put on the wife hat, now you know you keep it on at all times. Before you are fully in that role, do a transition. When you get to work, sit in your car and have a time of prayer before you go in. When you are leaving church and you're headed to your next meeting, have a moment to have a transition from one role to the next. Here's another strategy. I want you to do an environment reset. Again, this is for burnout. I want you to do an environment reset. What is going on the outside is what's going on the inside. If there's a place in your home that you can create as your own place, I want you to do that. Clear out the clutter. Buy your favorite pillows. Get you your favorite candle and keep it in that area. I want you to do an environment reset. You might have to relinquish some things. If you are burnout, you're going to have to relinquish some things. You may not be able to relinquish it all, but I want you to sit with somebody and I want you to outline all the things that are weighing you down. And I want you to identify what on that list can you release. And then the next strategy is I want you to have a curated joy list, a curated joy list. Make a list of 10 to 20, yes, 10 to 20 things that you can do that bring you joy. It could even be, I want to smell this. I love candles. I want to smell this candle. I got one for you right here. It's so funny. Woo! This peach paradise, literally, sniffing it calms my nervous system. Light your favorite candle. Maybe it can be, I love my favorite candle. I go for a walk. I call a friend. Listen, when I'm on a flight, I promise you, if I'm on a flight, I am going to look at The Office. Watching The Office literally makes me crack up. So I want you to find a joy, create, not find. I want you to create a joy list. That's what we're going to do for burnout. Okay. Which one of those 4 strategies are you going to do? Put it below. Let me know which one you're going to do. And then when it comes to you being emotionally disconnected, here are 4 things I want you to do. Number 1, I want you to name one feeling every day. I want you to keep a journal and just write down what you feel. You can Google feelings wheel. I want you to look on the feelings wheel, and I want you for 30 days to just keep a note of the feeling that you're having. The exercise is just to get you out of the feeling of being just numb and begin to identify another feeling. Now, with this, you can actually get an app. There's a feelings app. Many of my clients use that. I don't use a feelings app. You can just use your journal, but whichever would be best for you. I want you to name one feeling every day for 30 days. Then I want you to look back over it and tell me which feeling was most consistent. Number two, I want you to do consistent body check ins. Where am I holding my tension? I know for me, it's in my left shoulder. Where are you holding? Is it a headache? Is it a stomach ache? Is it your knee? Is it your shoulders like me? Where is your body holding the tension? And I want you to intentionally massage that area or get a massage in that area because your body keeps record of what's going on with you emotionally. So number one, I want you to name your emotion. Number two, consistent body check-ins. Number three, I want you to create a soul care box, okay? And I often use this under the umbrella of people who are dealing with burnout. But for you, if you are feeling emotionally disconnected, I want you to create a soul care box. Let me tell you what I mean. One thing we all talk about is self care, but we need a little bit more than self care when we are emotionally depleted. We need some soul care. So I want you to create a soul care box. I wish I had my box over here, but in your soul care box are all the things that bring you joy. It can have your candle, fuzzy socks, a journal, a tea that you like, your favorite mug. You can have something sensory that causes you to relax. And I want you to keep that in the area that you reset if you were burned out, right? I want you to find your area and keep your soul care box there. You can write note journal. You can have note cards in there, write notes to yourself, write notes to people you love. Because remember, we're trying to reconnect. So I want you to create a soul care box. So we are going to name one feeling daily. You're going to do consistent body check-ins. You're going to do your soul care box. And then here's the next thing. I want you to find someone that you feel safe with to just connect with consistently. It can be a therapist, it can be your spouse, it can be your best friend, but I want you to connect with someone consistently. So over the next 30 days, at least twice a week, I want you to connect with someone where the two of you really share. You share what you're feeling, you share kind of what you're processing, invite them to do the same, unless it's a therapist, invite them to do the same, because I want you to connect with somebody who will confirm how special and amazing you are. All right, y'all, that is the conversation for today. Again, yesterday was National Day of Rest, particularly for Black women. And I want you to name if you are navigating burnout or if you are navigating emotional disconnection. And either one, I want you to try those strategies. Comment below and let me know which one you're going to try. Make sure to share this video because we are over here helping women elevate not just what they do, but who they are. I'll see you next time.